Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Tuesday, October 28th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But like to these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, CODX. A lot of volume on this one today. Good solid movement. So a lot of people talking about it. Although I will say that from a presentation standpoint, it's a little tricky to talk about because it all does depend on your perspective. Meaning if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 10 minutes, well then from that perspective, things are looking pretty rough because yeah, there was a pretty big pullback from that point of view. With that said, from the overarching standpoint, the price still has plenty of opportunity to make a move in the upwards direction and still build that higher base. And that is where I would say that this level here is not a do or die level, but 98 cents important because if the price, and again, I'm not saying this is what's going to actually happen, but if the price were to come down more, behave like that, and then start to curl back upwards, what would you have emphasis on big picture? Well, from the big picture perspective, you'd have a set of lows here, you'd have lows there, you'd have that low right there, you'd have these lows down here, and if you envision each one of these as stair-steps from the big picture, well, from the overall viewpoint, you'd still very clearly have stair-steps progressing in the upwards direction. Again, I'm well aware, day traders that bought right there, they don't care about the stair-steps, but that's why I'm trying to distinguish between more of a day trader and scalper versus someone that cares about the bigger picture point of view. So yes, the price did pull back quite a bit from those highs, but the overall chart does still have plenty of opportunity to ultimately build a higher base. So let's see if the price can get that job done or not as the week continues to play out. Next one here, ASST, and this is I don't want to say it's a ruin situation because it's not, but moving into this, there was a very nice pattern right here. So just to map it out real quick. So we had that area of support, we had that movement. So what would be called a bull pennant pattern. But yes, at this point, the breakout has already happened. Now, with all that said, when breakouts occur, we now ultimately get to ask a very important and exciting question. That is this the start of something even bigger? Now, think about that question. It makes no sense to ask it if nothing worthwhile is even happening, because if we were to say, wow, is this the start of something bigger? And the other person says, well, is what the start? There's nothing even going on. But in this situation, there is something going on, right? It's gotten the breakout through that pattern. To be fair, because there are no guarantees, maybe it's not the start. Maybe this thing just rolls right back over. But once again, to be fair, that is a two-sided coin because, well, maybe it is the start of something bigger, and this thing's getting ready to rock and roll. So at the end of the day, that is a big question mark. The move has happened, got the breakout, but now is this breakout going to lead to an even bigger breakout, even more momentum as the week continues to unfold? We'll see what happens. Next one here, BYND, and the bleeding continues. So the first update that needs to happen is just the extension of this trend line. If you've watched past videos, you know we've been tracking this one, and the price still remains below that area. So from that angle of things, any sort of upwards bounces, I'm skeptical until the price can initially prove itself. What do I mean by initially prove itself? Well, let's see if the price can break above that red line right there, because you can see right there, there's a little bit of a bounce. Back down it went. It stayed below the red line. There's a little bit of a bounce, but again, stayed below the red line. Back down it went. There's a little bit of a bounce. Again, you get the idea. Still below the red line. Back down it goes. So even if it comes up here, don't get me wrong, any sort of upwards movement is a step in the right direction. I'm just saying, me personally, I would not be convinced of any sort of strength until it can take that first step. And again, first step being not only breaking above that red line, but then being able to stay up above it. As far as areas of support, right now the price is at a very, very important level, that pink line there. 200 period moving average basically valued at $1.90. Yes, the price is still technically a little bit below there, but to be fair, support and resistance levels are not exact specific prices. There is a little bit of a range on both sides of them, and in my opinion at least, right here the price is still within the range. But if on Tuesday the price just separates even further, well, that would just be additional confirmation that this very important level of support has been broken. But yeah, as of right now, the bears remain in control. Next one here, BBAI, and we have some what I think are some pretty well-defined areas, and I like well-defined areas because when a lot of people are watching the same general level, it's called a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movements, and I think a lot of people are watching that trend line right there. So no guarantees, but is it valid, in my opinion, if the price comes up here and then it breaks through there, that if that break right there could create additional buying pressure, I think that is a more than valid scenario to throw out there. Because again, you got to think a lot of people have drawn that trend line, and if it breaks, people could buy just because, hey, I'm a breakout trader. Oh, look, that's breaking. Oh, because it's a breakout and because I'm a breakout trader, I need to buy. And then they just buy. Again, self-fulfilling prophecies. Once more, not saying that's what's guaranteed to happen right there, but that is one of those situations where I could see that making sense. If there is any sort of movement back to the downside, key area of support going to be right down here, that purple line there, which I've talked about before, that 50-period moving average, right now valued at 691. And to be fair, so far so good. The price has acted very beautifully with it. So all in all, nice movement today. Very clear breakout point. So we'll see if the price can push up through there in the next couple of days. Next one here, BKYI. Rough mover today, no doubt about it, to think that at one point the price was all the way up here and then it's dropped all the way down here. But what makes this interesting is the current price movement has at least started to go sideways. Now let me be very clear, just because there's been a big pullback and just because now the price going sideways does not mean for sure guaranteed the pullback is over. My point is it's way more plausible. Case in point, let's say the price was still doing something like this and then I'm sitting here saying, hey, it's looking like this could be the bottom. You'd be totally justified to say, what are you talking about? Based on what? The price is literally still just going straight down. But that's actually not the case here, right? In this situation, the price has at least started to go sideways. So again, does this sideways action mean that the price is going to start to head back up? Of course not. Does it make it way more valid? Absolutely. So overall, big move up, big move down. Now we're getting that sideways action. So yeah, is this some sort of bottom? Is this thing getting ready to curl back upwards? We'll see what happens. Real quick, want to take a break and help you solve a very common problem that maybe pertains to you, but that is, you want to be a day trader, and I define day trader as having unlimited day trades every single day. No limits, no 3 every 5, nothing like that. And as many as you want every single day, but you can't because of the pattern day trading rule. Well, I want you to be aware that there is a way to go about trading that puts you into a market where there's no pattern day trading rule. And quite frankly, this market moves way better than penny stocks and low floats anyways. But I do also understand if all of this sounds too good to be true, what's the catch? Which is why I'm inviting you to come swing by the live stream. Start every day at 11 a.m. Eastern. I go for a few hours and see it with your very own eyes because this is exactly what I have been doing. But I totally get it if you think there's catch, if it sounds a little scummy. I get it. Like I said, come watch it. Ask me questions on the live stream and you'll see the power of it. But yes, please don't think that you have to be trapped under that pattern day trading rule. Next one here, OPN, and this will mean a little bit more if you watch the video from Friday, but talked about this resistance line here. And now we're going back to that whole idea that I talked about earlier of, the key question, that exciting question. And we get to ask that here because here's a trend line, and notice the price is actually pushed up above there. So once again, we get to ask the question, hey, is this the start of something even bigger? Is there more to come? Yes, as I mentioned on that previous one, the price, maybe this is a fake breakout and just rolls back over. But that is the two-sided coin because maybe this is indeed the start of something way bigger and this thing is going to get ready to rock and roll. So at the end of the day, OPEN has gotten the breakout. Is this breakout the leading indicator of even more momentum to come on Tuesday and the following days? We'll see what happens. Next one is Nvidia, and this thing just continues to beast mode higher and higher. Yes, it's got some pullbacks. It had some sideways action here, but now really getting some nice upwards movement. And even this last 30 minutes right here, check it out. Nice solid green candle. So the bulls seem to be remaining in control. Now, granted, they haven't pushed up through the high of where it was earlier in the day, right up there around the 191.80 mark. But it is certainly getting very close. So keep a close eye on that. But at the end of the day, it's all about just building those higher bases. And I'm not saying that the price is going to pull back like this, but Nvidia could come all the way down here, do something like that, and head back up. And yeah, that'd be a pretty nasty pullback. But again, if you look at things from the bigger picture, you'd still have a set of lows there. You'd have lows there, lows here, even lows down here. And if you envision those as stair steps, then as I've shown in other ones, the overall stair steps would still be plenty in the upwards direction. So yes, pullbacks can feel a little bit rough, like why aren't we going up? But on situations like this, you got to keep bigger context and realize that you could still have a pretty significant pullback and still be very much so in an overall uptrend. But overall, great start to the new week here for Nvidia. Next one, TSLL. And this is what I mean by the pullbacks. Yeah, these things can look rough, but a very straightforward way, at least in my opinion, to kind of just gauge the overall movement, the overall health of things, are just to watch and get this trend line in play right here. Because if you think about it, let's actually change this to green to represent a support. And I'm not saying it's going to get this as volatile, but just to illustrate the idea, the price, in theory, could come down here and then shoot all the way up there and then come down here and then shoot there, then come all the way up here and then come down here. And yeah, that would be very, very volatile action all over the place. But by staying up above that green line, what's the price itself doing? Well, that implies that the price itself is building higher bases, which is ultimately, assuming you care about the big picture standpoint, what it's all about. So yes, there is a bit of a pullback right now, but the price is still very, very much so up above that overall trend line. So keep an eye on that dynamic. And then let's make sure I'm not, there we go. And then in terms of areas of resistance, we are having to go back a bit into the chart's history, but we had this general area right here around 2180. So going back here, you can see that that area presented resistance. And then once again, the price got actually a little bit above it, but ultimately could not hold above it, and back down it went. So 2180 remains public enemy number one. But all things considered, the chart's doing just fine. Next one, DVLT. And this is actually a relatively tricky chart to talk about because going into this, there is a very nice pattern here. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not like the overall chart's ruined, but yeah, this current pattern has definitely been ruined because the price not only broke to the downside, but as I speak right now, we are in the middle of getting quite a bit of a deeper pullback. So again, overall, it's all about perspective now. If you had bought that pattern and you were thinking it was a breakout, yeah, from that angle, not so good. If you were a day trader and you bought up there and you wanted to buy and sell within a few minutes, again, not so good. However, from the grand scheme of it all, notice how the price is still very much so above both these key moving averages, that upward sloping 50-period moving average and the upward sloping 200-period moving average. Once again, if you're a day trader and you bought right here, you definitely do not care about either of these moving averages. But that's why I'm trying to be a little bit more specific about what category of trader I'm talking about. Now, if the price comes down to these areas and blasts down through both of those, well, then that's bad for everybody. Whether you're a day trader or somebody that cares about the bigger picture, that would not be a good situation at all. But as of now, the price is not only above that purple line, it's not even anywhere close to doing battle with it. So yes, that near-term pattern, absolutely destroyed. But the keyword there being nearer term. Taking a step back and looking at multiple days here, you can see that the price does still have plenty of opportunity to build a higher base. Next one here, GPUS, and we have, once again, one of these scenarios where, unfortunately, if you were, and I don't know, maybe you caught it, but if you like to play breakouts, well, yes, this one during the last 30 minutes here has officially broken out. But just because it's broken out does not mean that you have to cast it aside, because now we get to ask that question, which you are aware of. Hey, is this the start of something bigger? And that's why I like to do these when the markets are open, because check it out. This thing is, it's breaking and it's trying to go that much higher. But yes, it is broken out. Will it be the start of something even bigger? If the price does pull back at all, a key area of support that I'd say to keep an eye on would be that pink line right there. The 200-period moving average right now valued at, we'll call it 43.5 cents. But as of now, that seems somewhat irrelevant because the breakout has occurred. The breakout's looking good. And then when you factor in the volume down here of what's going on with the breakout, that's exactly what you want to see. During consolidation, you want to see lower volume. But on those breakouts, you want to see higher volume, and that is exactly what's going on here. So yes, for you penny stock players out there that like to play breakouts, it has broken out, but is this the start of something even bigger? We'll see what happens. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you are wanting a new market, if you are just sick and tired of the pattern day trading rule, or you just want to have very little risk on the line, but a whole lot of upside potential, then definitely check out what I've been doing. But I do understand, like I mentioned earlier, if all this sounds too good to be true. So come swing by the live stream, ask me questions, and see it with your very own eyes, as I'd be happy to answer any sort of questions that you may have. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that like button. Hopefully I'll see you on the live stream.